Okay, this is a demo test of the TimeDriver CityScape layout using TimeDriver rules. What we have is essentially a 5-foot long table, 4 feet deep, and technically, although we tried to do a layout that was a 4x4 table, the existing terrain that we already have pretty much is, well, it's everything you see here, and it fits on a 5x4 table. So that is what we're going to do for this era of game. This is actually very encouraging because of the way it came together. It wasn't that difficult once, of course, all this terrain was built years ago. And it looks so good now because it has been so well preserved for such a long, well, 6, 7, 10 years, I would say. So these are a combined railroad hobby scale of buildings plus cardboard shoe boxes, cereal boxes, and everything you can imagine. As a matter of fact, you can probably see some of the cereal boxes right now. The benefit of having cereal boxes is what you see now. So, having put all the applique artwork, windows, doors, and everything else on the buildings you can see that were made for this game, it came out quite well. Some of these buildings, especially on the left, you can see that we have just Christmas again, Christmas decorations, if you will. These little houses are from the Christmas cardboard buildings that you might see over in, Michael's or something. That's what these are right here, a little residential area. Now, in the previous video, I had mentioned that this was a General Joe's ammunition and weapons store. That's not true. This is actually a bank. The General Joe's store is over here, right here, and this is again a railroad hobby building. So this is a railroad. This is railroad. I should say, scale. So this is Woodland Scenics or Walters or something of that nature. This one here, same. This is this was the police station, post office, and city hall. Looking very old, and that's okay. I love it. That's a red brick. It really harkens back to the 10s and the 20s of the previous century, which is making it a very nice model. What we don't have here showing yet, though, is a helicopter on the helipad. And there is to be noted right up here, there's no door actually right there. There should be a door instead of this big window for the helicopter, and there should be a railing around the outside as well. But you know what? I did what I could. So that's essentially what we're having, what we're looking at right now. And some of these roads, these are all black foamies, again from the craft store. The white line has not been put down yet on some of these. Some of these are older that have the white lines, and the other element of making a cityscape like this is that you would have crosswalks, and you would have street lights, of course, and then and then stop signs and stop lights. But the fact of the matter is those things just break. Even temporarily putting them on, they just don't stand. They don't stand up. So if there was a way that they could be put in, I would certainly do it. Now, there is a possibility of creating a cage, if you will, of standing decorations. Now, if you can imagine, there would be a street light right here, a stoplight. And then there could be another one, and of course, it's a four-way stop. So, in order to keep those things from falling over, you could attach a very slim, a very skinny black dowel or metal rod or something of that nature that keeps them all standing without being permanent. And that rod would be practically invisible, especially if it was painted black. You wouldn't be able to see it that well. So that's a possibility, but as you can see, there's so many intersections here, there would have to be quite a few of them. And so that's a little bit difficult to do. And unfortunately, again, you miss all the other things. Like, for instance, the width of the roads here doesn't really allow for parking. And what you're looking at also on some of these buildings is that the sidewalks are a little bit large, because we had planned this for 28mm figures because of the enormous amount of variety you can get in 25 and 28mm as opposed to 172 plastics. However, so that's the reason why these sidewalks are a little bit big. They should only be about an inch all the way around, and in some cases it is kind of an attractive situation, especially where we have enough room. We put a green construction paper down and it looks like grass. So that's very nice. As a matter of fact, I think there's a strip right over here that is a green construction paper in between this building. So the end result of this is pretty cool. This is pretty accurate, as you can see, and it's an admirable attempt to do a cityscape, and using the TimeDriver post-apocalyptic rules. It almost looks too good, because in truth, as a post-apocalyptic game, a lot of this stuff would, or technically should be, in ruin, or very much very close to it. So what we have is, well, this is what we have now. And it could be said to be at a point where things are just a little bit better than most cities that would be. So there it is. I mean, we only have what we have, and we built this for a purpose, and then here is the purpose. And if we wreck it and replace these things with downed and destroyed buildings, it would just look like Stalingrad. So that's where we're at, and we'll continue with more demonstration of the rules in progress for a couple of turns, and we'll show you, I'll demonstrate how the rules work. It's very similar, well, actually it's not at all similar to CarWars. We're simply using CarWars as an inspiration for doing this game. The TimeDriver rules themselves are kind of a hybrid, as usual, because a lot of people do that with CarWars. They come up with their own ideas to simplify, and if not make it more accurate, make it a lot simpler. So there's a lot of things we don't do. There's a lot of cool ideas that we've implemented. The weapons and way you fire and the sequence of the turn and how long a turn represents are all issues that we'll demonstrate going forward.